Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Folklore, the official gathering place for newbies, novices, and OG diehard fans of the golden age of primetime. I'm your host, Jed, viewing and reviewing one of the most salacious episodes of Falcon, Crest. That's right, we're back on the West Coast. Somebody's doing the absolute most. So whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. No babe, no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, pulled, quiet, or kicked out of your own options because we are watching our story. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Folklore. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to another fun edition of Folklore. How y'all doing today? I hope your day is shaping up well. I'm feeling like I'm at a little bit of an advantage this week. I've watched 3 of the 4 episodes. I have watched Dallas. Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about Dallas. I've watched Knots Landing, equally as good, and I have watched Falcon Crest, which we are going to discuss today. I haven't watched Dynasty, but I see a theme emerging here already. We are at season 5, episode 8 for Dallas, Dynasty, and Falcon Crest, and we are on season 4, episode 8 of Knots Landing. And surprise, surprise, there's a theme running all up and through this. The theme seems to be you ungrateful little... People just don't know how to act once they get what they want. That's a telltale sign. They always say, if you want to see who someone really is, give them exactly what they want. I have found that to be true more times than not. Sometimes it's for the best, sometimes it's for the worst, but on a soap opera, I think it's always a good time regardless. So go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright. We're going to go ahead and get into some temptation this episode. Season 5, episode 8 of Falcon Crest, Storm Warning. Ooh, that's a good title. Gosh, I remember the first time we were caught in a storm. Well, I say we, it was me. I guess I was around 4. It was summer and I was playing with my best friend and she takes off running because she's like, we have a game today. I kind of groaned because even at that age, I knew I was not going to be athletic. T-ball was not my jam. I only said yes because I knew they got a uniform and ours was yellows. I think we were the Rangers. And I wanted those yellow knee-high socks. And I wanted a cool t-shirt. I didn't realize you had to get dirty and catch stuff. It was not my zhuzh. I hated it. There was no AC. So I was a little bit sad because I thought, dang it, I wanted to hang out and play with our Barbies and stuff today. I think she ended up being wrong, but needless to say, right across the street was the baseball field. We were at my grandma's house. Like my grandma and her grandma lived a couple of houses away from each other. Like my grandmother's house faced south, so her street ran east and west, and her grandmother's house faced west, so her street ran north and south, and there was just like one house on the corner that separated them. So we had been running back and forth between our grandmother's house, collecting little knickknacks, a little teacup here, a little glass plate here. We were trying to set up like a fancy picnic that we were going to bring our dolls to. And I remember this specifically because we were trying to lay down a blanket. She goes running off thinking we have a game, and her grandma's like, no, I don't think there's going to be a game. I think it's going to rain. So we were like, okay, well, we better go ahead and set up this picnic as quickly as possible so we can enjoy it. We're busying ourselves trying to set up this blanket, set up the plates or whatever we had scrounged up. And there's the soundtrack of the summer, which is the baseball game across the street. You can hear the sound of the bat hitting the ball. You can hear the crowds yelling. You can hear the coaches yelling, parents, kids just sort of running around having a good time. And of course, there's an announcer. She and I are just about set up. We're just kind of discussing what we need to do. I don't really remember what we were talking about, but I can hear my aunt and uncle lived right behind my grandmother. And I could hear my dad and my uncle talking, and they're like, yeah, I think it's coming. And I don't really know what they're talking about. They're not telling me to stop doing what I'm doing, so I don't really care. But then I start to hear other adults from across the street at the baseball game saying stuff. I can hear a woman say, "No, that's hail. It's getting closer. It's getting closer." She's yelling at the kids on the field, "Get off the field, get off the field." So by this point, three or four adult voices I'm hearing. And then I hear the announcer say, "Folks, we're going to hold the game. We're going to hold the game. Go ahead and take shelter." It is at this point that my friend and I start to notice that we can't keep the little blanket down because the wind has picked up. The temperature dropped so quickly. It went from being hot and sunny to the wind starting to blow in, but then it was like a colder wind. So we're like, okay, what is this? My uncle and my dad are louder, and I turn and look. My uncle is running towards my friend's grandmother's house, and she's in the backyard. He's kind of yelling at her to do something. My dad is yelling at like my mom and my aunt and my cousins and my sister. They're all just kind of outside doing stuff, and he's yelling at them, "Hey, get the kids, y'all get across the street. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." I'm like, what the hell is going on? Right about that time, we hear the sirens. My best friend and I are snatched up by either some adult or one of our cousins. I don't know who, but we are picked up and we are ran across the street. We all start piling in the dugout. Now, as an adult, I'm wondering why more people didn't run into the dugout. A lot of people ran to their car. A lot of people just took off running to their own home. Mind you, we live in a part of the country where basements are not a thing. So in a tornado, they tell you to get in a ditch, get down low. You do not go get in the car. You go get in your bathtub. You get in your closet, put a mattress over your head, or you get underground. The best we could do at that moment, because we were already outside and we're directly across the street, y'all run and get in the dugouts. So it was chaos nonetheless. The sirens are blaring. The sky is darkening. It's a weird grayish green color. Wind is blaring. Some people are screaming. Some people are crying. And then I saw a lot of dads just sort of standing out, looking up at the sky. I'll never forget my aunt, my grandma, they're sitting on the bench in the dugout, sort of crying. The girls are crying. My aunt, mom, and grandma are trying to comfort them, but I could tell that they're afraid. My dad and my uncle are standing at the just outside the dugout looking up at the sky, and they're like, "Oh, here it comes." Hail starts to rain down. It was an interesting moment, and it was probably a little bit more pivotal than I've ever given it credit for, because at that moment I understood that there was danger. I understood what a tornado was, and I could see people frantically running around, frantically freaking out. I could hear my sister and my cousins crying and freaking out, but my best friend and I were just small enough to not be affected, to not, I guess we had a choice to freak out or not. We decided just to watch it like it was a movie. And I'm like, okay, we're all in the same situation, but everybody is taking it a little bit differently. Needless to say, it was a scary moment. I heard that like a pipe went through a horse or something. That's one of the things that stuck with me, but it taught me to pay a little bit more attention. I don't think I've ever been outside since and not been very, very conscious of the weather, looking for the subtle changes, feeling the difference, listening to the things around me. When you hear and see stuff, you only have a few seconds to react. On this episode of Falcon Crest, there may not be a major tornado blowing through, but there are subtle changes in the air, little things popping up here and there that lead me to believe we're about to hit a major milestone on this show. Like, I got a hunch, I got a feeling something major is about to shift. I just hope everybody takes cover. Let's start out with Angie. I know old people. I know old people like the back of my hand. Much like toddlers, if there's one thing that they don't like, it's a whole lot of shuffling around with their normal day-to-day routines. Angela Channing may not be a full-on senior citizen, but she's definitely climbing up there. And the plan for her entire life has never changed. Number one, she wants to run and own Falcon Crest, be the outright owner, the queen of her queendom. She wants to produce and sell the tastiest wine ever made. She wants to dominate the world and all of its occupants, especially, and not limited to, all of the occupants of this house that she pays all the bills at. This is becoming increasingly more and more difficult each and every day. So, at the top of the show, Big Ann, just fresh off the heels of task number probably 17 for the week, she put Chase in his place And she decided it's time to flood out that little grape juice factory he calls himself owning. He should have never even stepped to her to challenge her in any way. He thinks because that little what's her name? Connie Giannini, that little harlot, gave him some property. He thinks he's up here smelling him stuff now. He thinks he's running things. Now Angie's got to drown out her nephew's dreams, ambitions, and the foreseeable future for him, all because he chose to compete with her. Does she enjoy it? Absolutely. But is it a nuisance? Is it interrupting the goal at hand? Yes. Yes, it is. But nevertheless, she got it done. She did what she had to do. Sadly, she can't even enjoy the fruits of her impeccably timed dream-killing brainchild because her flesh and blood child is missing. We start the show off with Lance and Peter Popoff sitting at the breakfast table, eating up all of Angela's delicious, delectable food. They're having a good old time, just sucking up all the air conditioner, enjoying all these lights they don't pay for and whatnot. Angela comes tearing into the room. She says, Lance, where the hell is Emma? When questioned by Big Perm as to Emma's whereabouts, Lance has the audacity to smugly tell her that the last time I saw Emma, she was on the dance floor getting rubbed up and down and up by some cowboy. Angela can't even believe it. I give you one task. You took your aunt out, and you know this is you and Appalachian's fault, or Babylon, whatever her name is. This is your fault. What the hell are you doing at a country bar anyway? What you doing around cowboys and stuff? That don't even make any sense. Before she can really go off on him the way she wants to, she hears this blah, blah, most annoying horn ever to disrespect her ear holes. It's like, is that a freaking Freightliner? Is a Titanic outside? What the hell is that? It's Ursula. No, 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 no. Not that baddie sea urchin witch from The Little Mermaid, not her. Although, now that I think about it, she and Angela have a lot in common. They were both trying to destroy their niece slash nephew. Trying to destroy their brother's kid in order to get back the kingdom. That is so rightfully theirs. I'm Team Ursula, even though I like Ariel, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Anyway, Ursula is an 18-wheeler. Ursula is a mother-loving semi driven by some meathead with no sleeves on his shirt. Emma comes swan diving out the side of this here semi. Actually, it's not Emma. Falcon Crest took a note from Dynasty and got a stunt double. No lie, they like swan, they leap at least 8 feet out of the air down to the ground. Emma is all but too proud to show up 24 hours after she left with a new booski. Who is this? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, introducing Dwayne Cooley. I know that because he's yelling his introduction to the gang. Emma says, everyone, this is Dwayne Cooley. This is my little friend, Dwayne. This is my mother, Angela Channing. This is my soon-to-be stepfather, Peter Stravos. This is my nephew, that's TT Baby. This is Lance. And this is our major domo, Chow Lee. Good old country Dwayne. Says, nice to meet you, Mrs. Channing. Listen, just because she's elderly doesn't mean she's old. She ain't old. She can hear you. She can hear you just fine. You 2 feet away. He salutes the major domo. Says, what's up, Pete? What's up, Lance? How y'all doing? Surprisingly, nobody is offended by Dwayne. The dudes are probably kind of impressed that he's driving this big truck around. I think they all kind of want to jump in. But all the dudes on the porch, Chow Lee, Peter, and Lance, are very pleased to see Emma shining, happy. She is bathing in the afterglow, if you know what I'm saying. And she's not shy about it. She says, y'all, I had a time last night. I had a time right there behind that driver's seat. Ow. Emma did what she had to do. I'm actually so surprised that they're all so cool with the fact that Emma got put through a truck stop mattress last night. And probably again that morning based on what based on the way she's talking. Angela can't believe this ish. And I mean, I kind of feel her. You spend your whole life pouring into your child, hoping you raise them right, and what do you get in return? Disrespect. Big Perm poured dedication, heavy medication, the occasional perpetration of crimes such as kidnapping, identity theft. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. She's a mother. It's okay. What did she get in return? This girl allowing penetration, fornication, in a truck no less. With a man with no sleeves on his plaid shirt, you let a mulleted meathead of a man with no shirt sleeve put you in a pretzel in the backseat of a semi. Damn! Angela immediately makes plans to separate this little love affair. Ain't no way she gonna let her daughter run around with this man. Ain't no way. Although he does kind of look like he might be related to Lance in some capacity. Can't even have a man who can he can't make up his mind. He got on a long sleeve shirt, he ripped off the sleeve. He's got a short haircut, he's got a long haircut. It's serious in the front, party in the back. I can't believe you busted it open. I can. Emma decides to retire for the day because, as she puts it, she is deliciously exhausted. She's had a long night and even longer morning, baby. She goes upstairs to rest. Angela tells Charlie, you make damn sure none of that fool's phone calls make it to my girl's ear. You hear me? Charlie is like, say less, I'm already on it. After this devastating blow to her ego, she needs to cool off. She needs to regroup. She needs to get back on the task. I need to run the world and all its occupants. Speaking of world, let me go see how the globe is running. Let me make sure Lance ain't effing this up again. She goes to the globe, expecting to find her grandson hard at work, but she is quickly greeted by none other than one of her least favorite nemesis, Douglas's bastard, a.k.a. Richard Channing, and Jordan, the new lawyer. They meet her in the thrice redecorated office that used to be Richard's at one point, used to be Lance's, used to be Maggie's, but now it's Richard's again. I would like to state for the record that I was a fan of Richard's second reiteration of this office where he decorated in the black and red. That's my favorite motif. I'm not really excited about this new layout. They've moved the desk to the side. Like as soon as you bust the doors open, you see Richard. I don't really like it. And it's still in that kind of weird blue. I'm over it. It's still got touch of terry all over it. I'm not a fan. Anyway, Angela is completely appalled. She cannot believe that this little boy lied to her face, all in behind this Appalachian girl. Singing and selling records? Are you serious? She can't wait to talk to him. She can't wait to put all this back in order. This is also ruining the plan. Now I got to ruin 3 lives. I had only planned on messing with Chase today, but now I got to ruin your life, Richard. Now I got to ruin Lance's life. Thank y'all for interrupting me. She is absolutely appalled and disgusted. And so am I. I am appalled and I am disgusted by the audacity in this scene. So, fiends, if you've been listening to me for a while, then you're going to get every answer to each question I give you correct. Who was the perm rod goddess? That's right, Angela Channing. Who is the aviator Adonis? Chase Gioberti. Who brings the whimsy to this television program? That's Emma. Who is Pastor Panty Dropper? You know who it is. And most importantly, who is a leading lady in leather? LPP is a queen of cowhide, the sweetheart of Swish. So why, pray tell, is Lawyer Jordan wearing a red leather skirt suit with matching gloves? You know whose flow that is. I can't even believe it. I let it slide when she took Harry, when she took Aunt Terry and Connie Giannini's swooshback pageant toddler and tiara hair. I can take that. She wears Maggie's earrings all the damn time. But when you put on a red leather outfit with a black turtleneck, stealing Michael Jackson's flow, you know who wears that. That's LPP style. She went into her perfectly procured leather closet and stole that right off her back. I know she did. I can and Pam's not in this episode. I don't know what's up with New Face Pam and why she's not popping up more. I'm starting to get upset. I don't like Jordan and leather. She better quit playing in my face. If she wears a fedora, it's over. Everybody on this show has a dedicated role. We have similar people, but they keep it different. We got bad girl Melly Mel, and we got Aunt Terry who wants to be a bad girl. It's okay. We have room for both. But everybody stays in their own lane. Except Miss Jordan. I can't really take this. Meanwhile, at the radio station across town, Lance is making money moves and making all of Apollonia's dreams come true. He's got some pretty major players from the East Coast coming to the West Coast. These are major DJs, major producers, ready to relocate to sunny California, which is probably a no-brainer. Turn KRDC into the hottest radio station in the country. Color me impressed. I forgot that Lance has matured a little bit and he has become somewhat business savvy. So I feel like he's going to do a good job. But that's neither here nor there because what I want and what his grandmother wants are two totally different things. In his haste to make Apollonia's singing dreams come true, he forgot to cover his own behind. So after a long day of making his new boo's dream come true, he walks into a trap at his grandmother's house. She invites him in. Hey, baby, how was work? She asks about the globe, not KRDC. How is everything at the globe? Is everything going smoothly? Is everybody back on track? And he's like, yeah, it's good kind of touch and go, but that's why we have these. And he's just really feeding into the lie. And she's like, oh, okay, everything's cool, everything's cute. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it would be good now that Richard is running it. Are you a whole fool, Lance? Do I look like Boo Boo the fool? You really gonna lie in my face? And he's like, Grandmother, I'm not lying. I just didn't have a chance to tell you the truth. That is such a lazy lie. So while she is cussing him out, what he doesn't realize is that Chow Li is quietly packing his teens and loading them into his little two-seater. Lance is officially kicked out for the 75th time, I think. This kid stays getting kicked out of the house, kicked out of the will. God, there hasn't been a 10-episode stretch where he isn't estranged in some capacity. So much so that he don't even blink at it. He's like, all right, cool. I ain't even tripping because my girl got a house. So I'll see you tomorrow, Granny. This is really exhausting for Chow Li. Not only does he have to kick out his play grandson, Lance, he has to lie to Dwayne and Ursula every time Ursula and Dwayne call looking for Emma. He has to say something like, oh, she's not here. She's not here. Actually, she's in Europe and she has a message for you. She told me to tell you that she never ever wants to see you again. Busting it open last night in the back of your truck was a terrible, very bad, awful idea, and she regrets it terribly. So much so that she has moved out of the country. Bye. It's devastating. He feels crappy for lying. It's one thing to protect Emma, but it's another thing to add to her depression. She is absolutely beside herself. Emma's convinced herself that she and Dwayne are in love for real, after only knowing each other 24 to 36 hours. And she has deduced that because she has not had a phone call from this man, he's got to be dead. Because, I mean, why else would Nina call her? She needs some comfort. She needs a voice outside of Falcon Crest to talk to about this. So she tells Peter and Pastor Panty Dropper about it. She goes on a walk with Pastor Panty Dropper, who is her nephew. So we'll call him Christopher when he's with her. He's kind enough to walk her back to the house. Peter's out on the porch. He greets Christopher. And he says, listen, I respect you as a priest, but I really don't understand your lifestyle. How are you able to resist all these baddies? You're young, you're good looking. I know you see the way the ladies looking at you because I see it. Are you not tempted, my brother? How? How? Explain to me, please. Pastor Panty Dropper's like, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely tempted, but also I believe in what I'm doing more. So it is my faith that keeps me from dropping panties like I really could, but I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think about it, I just don't do it. Christopher, father, Pastor Panty Droppers are still in his father mode. So he's like, well, what about you, Peter? I mean, you're not bad looking. You a good looking old man. How do you keep the ladies off you? And he's like, shit, keep them off, please. I'm old, brother. I take what I can get. Good to know, Peter. I have a feeling he doesn't have to fight. He doesn't work that hard for it. So now that Peter and Father Christopher know that they're good looking and, women throw themselves at them and they each handle it their own way, that still leaves Emma stressed because why can't I keep a man? For whatever reason, she decides to talk to the manimal about it, talk to him about her missing boo. She confides in the manimal that she thinks she's not hot enough to keep a man. Manimal says, you are tripping. You one of the baddest baddies I've ever seen in my life. And if I had half the spine, I'd scoop you up from a shelf. Yeah, right. She's like, oh my God, really? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, by this point in the episode, Ursula comes screaming up the driveway. This really bothers me. I would not want a semi on my property, not driving up and down my driveway. It's kind of tight. I prefer you park it like at the entrance and walk in, or I don't know, figure it out. But all this honking, waking me up, scaring the animals and upsetting the grapes or whatever is going to piss me off. Anyway, before she can get too deep into her depression, we hear Ursula's bomb, bomb. Oh my God, Dwayne comes tearing up the driveway. He refuses to believe that Emma went to Europe in the past 15 minutes. I also agree with him. She comes running out of the house, glad that he is back from the dead. She sees him, although she's happy to see him. She is nobody's fool. She has just been reassured that she is one of the baddest baddies and that she is a catch. So she wants, I want to know, mullet, no sleeves, why haven't you reached out to me? Why haven't you been chasing me down like you just like I deserve to be chased down? He's like, baby, I've been calling nonstop. They told me you was in Europe or something. Oh, yeah, that's probably my mama. That's probably exactly what she said. Angela comes outside trying to, stop the whole situation. Of course, it doesn't go well. Emma's like, you know what? I'm gonna see you when I see you. Let me climb into this. Let me climb into this back seat of this here semi again. Mom, Charlie, I'll see y'all around, okay? Angela tries to threaten her like she's done 1,015 times, but now Emma don't give a damn. No respect. She is in full dedication to some more fornication with her new sleeveless plaid clad boot. I guess her and Dwayne are gonna run away and fall in love and be happily ever after. We'll see. It doesn't really matter to me one way or another. I'm just glad to see Emma out of the house. I don't like her this lucid. It's fun, but I need that whimsical, you never know what you're gonna get kind of Emma. Plus, isn't it time for somebody to go on a murdering spree on this show? We haven't had any mystery yet. We're already almost 9 episodes deep. I'll give it a few more. Speaking of fornication, we need to talk about one of our bit players just real quick. Let's go back to Pastor Panty Droppers. Pastor Panty Drop Christopher is having a hard time now that Melissa has fully confessed that she's into him. Or she tried to fully confess. He pretty much stopped her, but he knows what she's gonna say. So he does what any pastor would do. What any father would do. He goes to church. He is praying. He's trying to keep his mind focused, keep his eyes on the prize when Father Bobby walks in. I think Father Bobby is back on the sauce because he is extra messy this episode. Christopher confides in him like, yo, this is getting really, really difficult. I think that's the trouble. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who's Catholic or I'm not disrespecting the faith whatsoever. But I do think this is the challenge of being a priest. Not that I would know, but I imagine when you are doing your training, you are surrounded by other like-minded people. On this here show, Christopher had been in an orphanage. He'd been in an all-boys orphanage all this time, did his training or whatever. So I would imagine he's come into contact with women, but not to this capacity. So you move him all the way to the West Coast. You put him in a tiny little parish. He's a fish out of water. He wouldn't expect him to come to the valley and meet the baddest of the baddies. And that's my thing. Father Bobby already knew everything there is to know about Melissa, bad girl Agretti. And you're like, yeah, let me give this little young, fresh meat kid who's only been a pastor 15 and a half minutes. Of course he's going to be tempted. So later on in the show, the priests are walking into town to get ice cream or whatever. And Father Bobby sees Melissa. He's like, hey, Melissa, look what I got, look what I got, look what I got. Pastor Panty Droppers is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Why? Melissa is shopping for cousin Robin's baby. She's coming around. She's bought up the whole store. It seems like she's just trying to keep her mind on something outside of Pastor Panty Droppers. And look who comes waltzing up. Father Bobby says, you need somebody young and strong to help you with this. Here, Chris, help her load her little two-seater, her hatchback with cribs and stuff. Make that make sense. Not a truck. She's going to load that hatchback. So as Father Bobby goes inside the store to collect the rest of Melissa's things, and she's like, Christopher, have you thought any more about what I told you? He's like, Melissa, I already told you I can't return anything but platonic feelings to you. I'm sorry, I'm such a smoke show. I know it's really distracting, but we're friends. It's platonic. I'm not a panty dropper. I'm the platonic priest. I'm not a panty dropper. I'm a platonic priest. I'm not a panty dropper. I'm a platonic priest. She's like, yeah, okay, fine. I guess. Quick little scene. Melissa's at home. Her, Cole, baby Joseph, and Robin are in the living room trying to put together a crib. Melissa is like me. I don't believe in reading directions for stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, somebody else is going to put it together. I hate reading those sorts of directions. I can just look at the picture, allegedly, and figure it out. So she's putting stuff together, In the middle of rebuilding the crib, Maggie comes over to help. They decide they're all going to look at the instructions. Robin gets a phone call. It is Angela who wants to take her to lunch. Hey girl, you busy? I know. Now you do any day now. I'd really like to take you out to lunch next week. Robin's like, oh my God, yeah, that'd be awesome. Totally. Angela's like, yes, yes, exactly, darling. Perfect. Listen, I'll call you with the deets. Don't tell your cousin. Do me a favor, just keep it to yourself. Robin is giddy because like she has no friends. When Robin comes back into the room, all of the Gia birdies are trying to fix the crib. I don't know why Robin is feeling herself. Maybe because she has made her first friend ever. She's like, "Oh, Melissa, I can't believe you bought all this stuff. You must have got it half price." Melissa looks at her like, "Girl, ain't nobody broke around here. I paid full price for this. You lucky I'm on parole." Robin's like, "Okay, thank you, thank you." Melissa says, "Well, who was that on the phone?" Robin is a terrible liar, just like Lance. She goes, "Oh, nobody. Wrong number." Tell me why baby Joseph, who's helping helping screw in the legs with a screwdriver. He's helping his mom. Him and his mother look at her like, "Bish, why is you lying?" Which tells me baby Joseph has a very, very good relationship with his mother. And despite how much he likes Aunt Robin, him and his mama be talking ish behind Robin's back together. I ain't never seen a 4-year-old give such accurate side eye. Like, she ain't even, girl, did you hear? She don't know who on the phone now, mama. I heard her, Joseph. Lying wench. Speaking of wenches, wenches, and otherwise unsavory women on the show, Aunt Terry is in the house. I don't know if she had a business coach or she went to some new money workshop, but all of a sudden, Terry is the business savant. She knows all the things. She gets a rousing welcome at Tuscany Downs. This would actually irritate me. Richard has all of the employees come into the room. You know how it goes. And they're all celebrating their newest addition, Terry Ransom. Hey, yay, yay, she's so awesome. Terry is good for business. And in order to make her feel welcome, Richard orders champagne. Terry gets a booth with her name on it. Yeah, yeah. And a parking spot with a gold placard. And most importantly, she gets a golden key to the restroom. Richard, if you don't stop playing in my face, I'm going to crack that cane over your thick skull. It feels like the meeting, you ever have a meeting at work where maybe the niece of the boss gets promoted and everybody's like forced to clap and make her feel welcome? No shade, but also like, girl, can we not pretend like you're Bill Gates here? Can we not pretend like you've ever run a business in your life? But whatever. Welcome, welcome, welcome. During all this time, Cassandra has been feeling super, super guilty, but she also really likes Richard. She wants that old thing back. So they do have a lunch meeting at some point before Terry is welcome to Tuscany Downs. And Cassandra is trying to make amends. And Richard's like, listen, I understand why you did what you had to do. And I'm very grateful that you gave me my money back and then some. But I don't even know how I'm supposed to trust you. Cassandra's like, I get it. I get it. But you don't know my mom. Imagine growing up having to carry out this revenge. I've never felt good about it, Richard. I just need you to know, even though I did what I did, number one, I never intended to harm you. I never intended to fall in love with you either. And I really, really am sorry, which is why I'm trying to make amends. He's like, okay, listen, I'm a vicious, cutthroat man myself. I totally understand doing what you have to do. But I don't really trust you, but why don't we just try to be friends? Let's just start there. Let's see how things go. So this makes Cassandra really happy. So happy, in fact, that she sends him flowers so that he can feel all romantic and whatnot. And sometimes you got to spoil a man, make him feel like a lady. She sends him this gorgeous bouquet of flowers, and it arrives right about the same time as Terry is getting brought into the fold. So he and Jordan are standing to the side, and Jordan's like, who are those flowers from? He's like, it's from Cassandra. She goes, oh, I guess that means y'all are back together. He goes, not necessarily. I like to keep my enemies close, but I am going to play hard to get because I'm a lady. He then takes the flowers over to Aunt Terry and presents them to her so that she feels extra welcome. This is just a weird scene. Terry's personality has never fully meshed on this show, but now her being, I don't know, I guess she's going for cutthroat, big money tea. I don't know. is not quite sitting well with me, but she does have other uses. I apologize if you can hear the effervescent sound of my ice cold beverage. I wish I could tell you it was champagne, but it is Alka-Seltzer because I have gnarly heartburn for no reason nothing. I think I had a smoothie, like a peanut butter smoothie. I don't know where this heartburn is coming from. Anyway, where was I? Oh, okay, wait. Before we get into Aunt Terry and the many, many ways she can be very, very useful, we need to discuss Lance and Apollonia. Apollonia is pumped. So she's going to be the next superstar. She's going to be, God, she doesn't realize it's the 80s. She's not going to be Michael. She's not going to be Madonna. She's not going to be Whitney. She's going to be her. And being her is exciting because she's got a man on her arms making all her dreams come true. And that is very, very sexy. They proceed to be very, very sexy together in her twin bed inside her own house. If that sounds judgmental, it is. Girl, how you have a whole house, at least a 2-3 bedroom, but you got a twin bed. I understand things come together. Sometimes it takes a little time to build up your furniture. But she and Lance have a hot box of pizza and even hotter sex right there on that twin bed. And apparently, post-coitus, he gets up and puts his jeans back on. And it's a good thing he does. Because Apollonia she's very attuned to her life. Not only in music, but in her environment. She hears something very subtle, something very amiss in her deep coma-like sleep. She nuzzles Lance. She's like, hey, something's going on. I hear something. He immediately jumps up. He doesn't question her. He doesn't gaslight her because he's tired. He jumps up because he already has on his denim. And he ain't kicked ass in at least 3-4 days. He's due. He opens the door to her bedroom and tell me why one of the Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo background dancers comes in with wielding a knife, brandishing a weapon. You picked the right one today, baby. Lance immediately goes into his Taibo training and puts belt to ass or foot to ass. Actually, he puts foot to shoulder. So, picture 6'3" Lorenzo Lamas, freshly greased up. And Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo in a full leather ensemble. Y'all are playing in my face with all this leather. I'm starting to get angry. And they go 1, 2, squat, 1, 2, kick. You're gonna stand, make sure the pants don't rip. Lance kicks his foot up, puts it on the guy's shoulder, push a little more, then they both roll over, fall to the ground, punch, he's down. Lance easily removes the knife from Rat Fiend Rambo and tells Apollonia, call the police. He's going to patiently keep his knee in the breakdancer's back and keep his arm behind him, and they're just going to wait patiently for the police. But what they now know is that Apollonia's hood is too dangerous. You're going to get into breakdance battles, vocal battles, rap battles, cheerleading battles, apparently. They're getting on the first thing smoking. They're getting back to the Falcon Crest. Grandmother can be mad tomorrow. You know she is. She said, didn't I tell you not to bring cornucopia to my house no more? He explains, Apollonia's hood is too dangerous. I'm not Chili D anymore. I'm Lance Cumpson on this show. And I can't be kicking people's ass up and down the road in denim in the middle of the night. Plus, Grandma, she got a twin bed. I'm saying, like, I'm 6'3". You feel me? I'm 6'3". Angela relents because, quite frankly, what can she do at this point? She got one girl at a convent because she done shot up the place, run away. You know what I'm saying? She's got another one in the back of a semi banging a dude who only wears plaid and sometimes sleeves. Peter Stravos is cramping the hell out of her style. He's all up and in her business all the time. She can't even enjoy her life. Fine. You and Babylonia can sleep in this pool house. Actually, she can sleep in the pool house. You gonna sleep in the main house. You better not come down here trying to get some. That's how you got kicked the first time. And it's like, yeah, all right, bet. There will definitely be some communication and some fornication in that there pool house and anywhere else he can do it. because he and Apollonia don't give a damn. They're here to be superstars, and they're both young and hot. Speaking of young and hot and communication and fornication, Aunt Terry enters the business chat. Only this time the business is a little less than legal. Chase and Maggie, or Chase rather, is still miffed about Angela getting the better of him with that whole flood out your grape juice factory. I don't mean to be disrespectful. She doesn't think it's a wine factory. Whatever. That's her words, not mine. Actually, those aren't her words. That's her in whatever. You know what I'm saying. They want to get back at Costello. That's the chairman who sold him up the river. So he and Maggie and the sheriff come up with the plan. Actually, let me leave Maggie out of this. Maggie has had brain cancer. She's had the first ever cryogenic laser surgery to remove that. She just had amnesia. Maggie basically has a soft spot in her skull as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to hold any new thoughts she has against her. She is free from any of the consequences of whatever happens to this. I'm not holding her accountable for this. But Chase Ben knew what was up, and so does the new sheriff. So they decide Costello's already a criminal. He's already a scoundrel. He's already a thief of sorts. Let's go ahead and make him perpetrate a crime. And who better to help with that than good old, freshly rich, newly boothed and parking lotted and toilet keyed Aunt Terry, who's now an upstanding member of society because she is in bed with the Nazi child and horses or something. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. This is her new life. I'll accept it. Terry's in the living room while they're talking about this, and she's like, "Hey, I bet I could get him to perpetrate a crime. Kind of my thing. I bet I can make him do anything you guys want." And I'm talking like this because Terry talks like her name is. She talks like Dick Tracy to me. So the plan is quite simple. Terry is going to use her unlimited access to Tuscany Downs to invite not Congressman, he is Chairman Costello to a little meeting. She basically is going to buy her way into something and he's gonna take the bait. But the rules and regulations to this here entrapment plan is that she has to get him to say a number. She can't be like, "Hey, if I give you $20,000, can I buy your vote?" He has to be like, "Yo, for 15 grand, I might be able to hook you up." And she has to say, okay, it has to work like that. Did I mention that the lawyer is also there? So there is a lawyer, there is the town sheriff, there is another councilman, and a woman with 2 traumatic brain injuries and short-term memory loss planning to entrap this gentleman. Only you don't become a do dirt dude without doing dirt and learning from the dirt that you have did. Costello, I don't know if he can feel something in the air, if he feels a tingle, if he felt the temperature drop, if he felt something on the horizon, because he does not take the bait this episode. Terry decides, ain't no thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, Terry is wearing the cutest. It's like a sweetheart neck black bandeau top dress, but it has like a little keyhole under the boots. It's so cute. It is so cute. But despite her dress, despite her being the second baddest baddie in all of the valley, well, is she the second or is she the third? Is Angela the baddest or is bad girl Melly Mel? You can reach out in the show notes and let me know who you think is the baddest baddie on Falcon Crest. Is it our girl, Melissa Bad Girl Agretti, 2-time felon, reformed deadbeat mother, about to get her third husband, hopefully, maybe? Is it Angela Channing, who's also on husband number 3 or 4, I can't remember at this point, who invented twerking in Tuscany Valley? Or is it bad girl Terry, the East Coast madam who's come up into some money, married a good doctor, now she's back to hooking, sort of? Well, that's the implication. By the end of the episode, she's like, okay, so if he didn't take the money, I know exactly what he will take. Huh? It is worth noting that even with Maggie's soft spot, she is like, girl, you can't be, I don't want you involved in this. Terry's like, girl, bye. Did you not see me last season? I had a whole crackhead as a husband. And I set up like 2 or 3 people, or tried to. This is basically my only job on the show. Give me something to do, damn it. Don't take this from me. I like the direction of where this episode is going. I do, and I don't know, I just joked about her for a little bit. I like Terry jumping in as a little bit of a stronger character this season. It seems like they're trying to build up her credibility. Now she's a businesswoman. Now she understands that she has money. Now that she has a little bit of leverage, she's been on the show long enough. She's got to be more than just the neighborhood hottie. You know what I'm saying? Plus, there's nobody to flaunt it in front of this season. Not yet. I guess she hasn't met Christopher yet, but I don't really see that going anywhere. Meanwhile, the tension between him and Melissa is mounting. They only were together for like 45 seconds this episode. I'm like, oh my God, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Want to shout out my good friend in Oregon for dropping some more tea. I mentioned the last time we watched Falcon Crest that I felt like Lorenzo Lamas was on something synthetically produced. And this is some of the behind the scene tea. In real life, Lorenzo Lamas was married to Abby Dalton, aka Julia's daughter, Kathleen Kinmont, for about 4 years. I think I noticed that he was married. I don't know if I knew who he was married to, but I feel like he had a kid right about this time too. Anyways, Lamas revealed that while in his 20s, he would sometimes party with crew members, and on one occasion he had a little booger sugar during lunch at his nearby house before he coming back to the studio for a scene with Jane Wyman, aka his godmother. After showing up high and drunk off that booger sugar and booze, he was struggling to get his lines together. His auntie Jane Wyman recognized that he was high and gave him a stern warning, telling him his father would be ashamed of him. That encounter with Wyman profoundly impacted him, leading him to promise to never come to work impaired again, a promise that he kept for the remainder of the show's run. I love that. I'm going to save the Dallas tea because I fully agree with that. And God, I can't wait to talk to y'all about Dallas. I'm just going to put it out there like this. Sometimes you got to use the power of deduction. You need to deduce motives. If your enemy ain't never been nothing but an enemy to you, would you show up to meet and speak with them publicly? I wouldn't. We'll get into that when we get into Dallas. All right, guys, if you have any behind the scene tea or any interesting tidbits or some memories or just opinions, you can always reach out to me via text if you're listening to this on your mobile device. Just check on the show notes. There is a link that says send us a text. I will acknowledge you on the show always. I do have a few more, but I like to read them when we're watching the show that it corresponds with. So I have not forgotten you guys. I will get to those very soon. You can hit that link or you can send me an old-fashioned email. I love reading your emails. I'll always respond to you. And I can be reached at soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. That's soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. All right, guys, that's going to be all for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Join me next time as we jump into Knots Landing, I believe. And then we're going to talk about Dallas and we're going to get into Dynasty. In the meantime, in between time, it's okay to use your feminine wiles so long as you are filthy freaking rich. You can get down in the back of a semi. You can seduce a dude at the horse rack, or you can make him feel like a real lady by sending him a bouquet of flowers. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.